Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome to Fantasy Hockey Picks and Bets presented by Prize Picks right here on the Mayo Media Network. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with us today. And by us, I mean myself, Chris Meaney, Eric Young, and we'll bring in Maddie Best numerous times here today because we have 14 games in the NHL, 15 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, 14 today on Monday. So lots to get to. Please rate, review, subscribe, smash the like button. If you have a question, leave it there in the YouTube section. Circle back before puck drop because there's lots of action in the NHL. It could be your fantasy hockey finals this week. So if you have a start or sit question, don't hesitate to reach out at Chris Meaney or leave the comment there in the YouTube section. It is time for the Prize Picks play of the day. Follow the link inside the description of this video for a 100% first deposit match. The promo code inside the link of this description. If you are just new to prizepicks.com, we are having a lot of fun over at FTN, ftndaily.com. You click the chat link up at the top. It'll get you in the free Discord channel where there are tons of advice happening because you can mix and match across all the sports that you love. NFL draft weekend is over, so they already have NFL season-long props on there as well that you can attack. But I got a couple hockey picks here for you, and you can mix and match some of these hockey picks with the other plays that they have across all of the sports. So I am going to talk about two players here in particular. Let's start with Patrice Bergeron at 4 points. Also, I got Connor McDavid in here at 5.5. I mean, he'd probably have to be at 6.5, 7 for me not to take him in a matchup against the Vancouver Canucks. But let's start with Bergeron. He's playing the Devils here. The Devils have won 3 straight games, but they came against the Flyers. So do they really even count? Because before that, they were on a massive losing streak. They had lost 10 straight games. They have allowed at least 4 goals in 12 of their past 16 games. So they're still struggling defensively to keep the puck out of their net. The Bruins here rolling. This is playoff time. They're not going to mess around here this evening with the Devils. For Bergeron, 3 goals and 8 points in his last 9 games. I love the Taylor Hall edition. It's given them 2 solid lines. I was actually looking for Craig Smith and David Krejci on Prize Picks. They may show up a little bit later. Craig Smith may show up in a shot prop, but I love that second line, and the first line is intact now with Bergeron, Pasternak, and Marchand. So give me the over on Bergeron. And then McDavid. What is there really to say about Connor McDavid? What he's doing this year is special, and say what you want about the Canadian division and not moving around the NHL and just playing the same few teams over and over. He's got 87 points in 49 games. 87 points in 49 games. He's got 18 over his last 7. He's got 8 and 5 against the Canucks. The Canucks rank inside the top 5 when it comes to high danger chances allowed, scoring chances allowed, shot attempts allowed, goals against per allowed over the last 5 to 6 weeks. So this is a really good matchup for him. And also a third, if you're looking for a third, it would be Sidney Crosby over 4.4 against the Philadelphia Flyers. All right, Eric, what's up, man? 14 games. I don't even know where to start.
1 game yesterday, man. I was jonesing. So we're back on track with 14 today. I can go back to my crazy ways of watching hockey from 6 to 1 in the morning. And I'm happy about it, man. This is a cool time of year. It still seems weird that we're talking about regular season hockey at this point, but here we are. It's a weird year. Connor McDavid. I mean, people are talking about it, but not talking about it enough. 56 games, and he's got over 87 points. I hope he gets to 100, man. It's going to be cool to see.
Well, I think he will. I mean, I can't. The way that the run that he is on, and I'm sure it's in the back of his head too. Like, let's get to 100, and the matchups. I mean, they're great down the stretch. This is a good one here with Vancouver, and the Canucks. It was a nice story when they came back and they hadn't played for a couple of weeks and they beat the Leafs in back-to-back games. And I think they beat the Sens there. And, there was some talk for a playoff push, but they're just playing so much hockey here down the stretch, making up for so many games. I mean, they've only played 45 games. The Oilers have played 49. The Leafs have played 51. Everybody else inside the division has played 50. So they just have to play so much hockey here down the stretch and the back-to-backs. And it's going to be really, really tough for them. So I like this spot here for McDavid to maybe get a couple more points. I think when we talked last week, we mentioned him for a 2-point night. I know we had it over at ftnbets.com. And if you are looking to get involved in the FTN fam, we have the promo code Mayo, Meaney, whatever it is. We'll be giving picks until that Stanley Cup is raised. And we're at 127 units over there. So check that out. Lots of picks here on the show here today. It's going to be hard to narrow it down, right? I'm going to just try to narrow it down to just a handful instead of giving 30 picks. Where do you want to start, man? Where do we begin here tonight? Should we start with the Leafs and Habs? Nah, let's start with the Leafs and Habs. EY, what do you think about the Leafs and Habs here tonight?
I mean, look, I mean, it's no secret I'm a Maple Leafs fan.
What?
You're a Habs fan. We probably won't talk past this for the rest of the day until the Maple Leafs win. So yeah, it's the Leafs are rolling right now. Montreal is, still finding it hard to score. I mean, I texted you as soon as Caulfield scored. I know that's exciting, but he's got one goal in overtime. Yeah, I mean, Maple Leafs are clicking right now, and I mean they're getting decent goaltending. They're playing really good hockey, and it's, as a Maple Leafs fan, it's exciting for them to be playing good hockey at this time of year.
Yeah, they are. That was a great goal by Caulfield. Matt also replied on a tweet. He thought I'd be yelling. Matt, you thought I mean, dude, Matt, I was yelling, man. I ran that on PBR
You
like 12
had
times.
the most tame tweet because I was about to tweet about like how electric the goal was, like what a moment for the kid. And then before I did that, I opened up my Twitter timeline and I just see the most bland tweet from you. I was like, what is wrong? Are you having a bad day? But then you messaged, or then you replied to it. You were more fired up. I was like, okay, now I get it.
No, yeah, I was certainly fired up. It was a busy weekend with the NFL draft. We did like 11 hours of live TV, and I was kind of like in and out. But no, I was definitely pretty fired up for that goal. And he was flying around the ice in that game, and it seemed like it was only a matter of time to for that goal to come for him. So it's good. It's the monkey's off his back. That's probably one of the longest droughts he had playing hockey, like over his whole career, to go 4 games without a goal, because I mean the guy scored like 72 in 70 games as like a 17-year-old one time, and then he had 30 and 31 or 31 and 30 with Wisconsin this year. So there's no secret he can snipe and he can score. And yes, he's small, but he does find a way to get into those soft areas, Eric. And he loves to shoot the puck, which is nice. We had him over 2.5 shots, so he hit that the other night. You can't parlay with a bunch of these shot props. So like if you're going to pick one, it's going to be Matthews. The run that this guy is on is crazy, and he's shooting. So his wrist looks healthy. 3.5 over at William Hill is minus 145. That's kind of his highs. This is like almost the cutoff there. I don't like to get into around minus 160. If you are, then just parlay these guys instead of playing them as singles. But I think Matthews in there, and Toffoli as well. He hit the other night. He's been bad to us, I think, Matt, on this show. You've referenced it a couple times, but he hit the other night. He had a big game, a lot of shots, and I like the Leafs here tonight. They're minus 148 on the money line. I grabbed them yesterday at minus 140. They'll probably get up to like minus 160 or something like that with the Habs plus 125. But Eric, it does look like almost by default that the Habs will make the playoffs here with another loss by the Flames over the weekend. It actually could have gone really bad for Montreal this past weekend. They were down 2 goals against the Jets on Friday. They came back and won that game late. And then they were down 2 goals in the third period to your Ottawa Senators, and they came back in that game and won late as well. So instead of it being a 2.4 point cushion, they now have an 8-point cushion with 6 games left to go. So it looks like potentially Montreal and Toronto in the playoffs, man. Buckle up.
Yeah, I mean, I think, anybody that's been following either of these two teams for a while now, I think it was 79 is the last time they played in the playoffs.
That's right.
Excellent year, the year I was born. I am old. I want to see it happen. And I think, I said that Montreal's not clicking, but they're just not clicking how Toronto's clicking. But I think the fact that they come back against the Jets, they come back against Ottawa, this is a motivated team. They want to play in the playoffs, and I think they're built for the playoffs. I mean, if they can get some scoring, Suzuki seems like he's heating up. Toffoli's having an unbelievable year, and now they've got the threat of Caulfield. We still don't know what he's going to be, but if I was a gambling man, which I am, I would bet on Caulfield being very good and scoring goals at the NHL level like he's done everywhere else.
And Elliot Friedman had mentioned after the game that Eric Engels, who also works for Sportsnet, was looking to make a wager on an anytime Cole Caulfield goal, and he couldn't find it. And I know they're not watching the show. Friends of the show, Elliot Friedman and Eric Engels. But Engels follows me on Twitter, so I reached out to both and I said, listen, guys, why don't you watch Fantasy Hockey Picks and Bets? You can make that bet. You guys are both north of the border. Bet365 will give you an anytime goal for Cole Caulfield, or they're calling him Goal Caulfield, I think, already in Montreal. But at the end, I know, right? Here we go.
One goal.
It's gonna get even crazier. You know this.
Oh man.
FTNbets.com, free prop shop. You just type in Cole Caulfield and it'll pop up, and you can see all the different books that will allow you to make those kind of bets. So I didn't get a reply back from Friedman. No surprise, but if you want to make those kind of bets, you check out ftnbets.com and you take a look at that free prop shop. Also a free parlay calculator. I've said that numerous times on this show, but it is really, really cool just to get those best possible odds. So I like the Leafs. I think the Habs they're starting to get a bit healthier. I mean, they're missing a bunch of guys, right? Like Price, Weber didn't play it all over the weekend. Gallagher is skating again. Hasn't been playing. Byron Duran out of the lineup. So I think if they get healthy, maybe they can give the Leafs a push, but overall, I would still take the Leafs in that playoff series. But also something to be said here that we may not get what we want in Montreal and Toronto, because the Canadiens are only 2 points behind the Jets, and the Jets have lost 6 straight games. So it could be Montreal and Edmonton.
They're floundering, man.
They really are.
On a slide.
They are hurting. So it could be Toronto, Winnipeg, and Edmonton and Montreal. Before we move on from this game, because we have 13 others, who would you like to see as a Leafs fan? Habs or Jets?
Oh, geez.
Give it to me.
I right now, I mean, just because of everything that's happening and stuff that me and you said at the start of the year, the Jets, and I mean, they're loaded offensively. They've got an all-world goalie, but that defensive core it's a disaster, and they can't stop high danger chances from happening. And I mean, I know you saw the goal, Matthews' goal on Saturday. He, he's coming down the left side, and he just puts on the brakes and backs up into that soft spot, and the puck is on his stick and in the net before the goalie even knows what's happening. I mean, it's the level of skill to do something like that and have the puck shot that quickly is why he's got 37, 38 goals. It's crazy to watch him. My argument for him is maybe the best Leaf of all time, offensively for sure.
Oh, yeah, hard to argue. Had a lot of good ones, but hard to argue what he's doing. Matt, who would you like to see?
Just because of the matchup itself, give me Leafs and Habs. Yeah. I want
That's
it.
What I want.
It's like on TV, that would be so much better. I think the
Canada
Leafs
would explode.
It'd be ridiculous. I wouldn't talk to Meaney for a week. But it would be so much fun to watch. If Price comes back, watching Price in the playoffs. If Freddie comes back, watching Freddie versus Price. Matthews versus just a chippy Montreal team. I sign me up for that. But I'm also scared of the Jets because Connor Hellebuck has proven that he can just stone the Leafs left, right, and center. But this version of the Jets, I mean, I'm not afraid of. I don't think it's like a little kitty cat that I don't even care. It can just walk on by. But the Habs, no matter what, just match up so well against the Leafs.
Yeah, they do. And the Jets, there's something about the Jets right now. Like, not only have they lost the 6 straight, but, Ehlers is not with that team right now. Blake Wheeler's not 100%. He's definitely not feeling 100%. We've been knocking their defense the whole time. I mean, if they didn't have Connor Hellebuck, I don't know where they would be. And then Scheifele, there's something going on with Scheifele as well. They just did not look good the other night in Montreal. The puck was in their zone the whole time. I hardly noticed Scheifele. The effort level just didn't seem to be there. And Pierre-Luc Dubois has, in my opinion, been a little bit disappointing as well. So it remains to be seen. There's still a couple weeks left to see what would happen. I would like to see Montreal and Toronto. Like, I think the Canadiens would obviously have a better chance against the Oilers. And I say obviously, it'd be really tough still to beat an Oilers squad, but Toronto looks complete. So we'll move on from that game. But I do like Matthews and Toffoli for shot props. Like Matthews more, but I like Toffoli as well. So the Islanders and the Sabres in here next. Buffalo heavy home favorites here, plus 220. The Islanders minus 265, 25 and 26 against the spread. There's not really not much to say. I mean, I'm not in on Buffalo. I'm not going to put my money on the Sabres. And I don't know. The Islanders have just owned Buffalo all year, and the Sabres haven't even really been able to put any offense on the board. So like puck line is in the back of my head here, but I don't know if we really need to go there. I'm going to write it down right now, but EY, what do you think of this matchup? All of a sudden the Islanders, all 4 teams in the East are just flip-flopping nonstop. The Islanders are now in third, 1 point ahead of Boston.
Yeah, and the Islanders had a scary slide there, and I feel like they've definitely righted that ship. Varlamov and Sorokin look unbelievable. Mitch Korn, the goalie whisperer, is doing it again. A Barry Trotz coach team. New York is poised for another, I believe, long playoff run. They're hard to play against. They're a pain in the ass, man. And teams like that always do well in the playoffs. Matt Barzal, man, a little bit, I kind of wish he was on a team that would just let him go, because when he does, he's one of the most electric players playing today. I know you saw the breakaway goal the other day, like 2 strides, and it's like the other players are standing still. That's insane. Everybody in the NHL can skate now. Everybody is fast, and Barzal's on another level. His skating is insane.
Yeah, he's super fun to watch.
As far as bets, though, there's nothing going on here. Move on.
We'll get to some DK plays on the end, but maybe I'll just chuck him out on the fly. But Barzal is certainly a value. I've already put together the article over at ftndaily.com just because it's such a massive schedule. I was looking at it last night. I forgot to mention Morgan Riley, but Morgan Riley is completely underpriced over on DraftKings. I think Galchenyuk is a value from that first game. And then this game here, like Barzal is definitely a value. Bolivier, a value, almost up and down the board when it comes to the Islanders, a value. So this is the 6th meeting between these two teams. The Islanders have won all 5 games. Buffalo scored 7 goals in those 5 games. So the Islanders have won on the puck line in all 5 of those games. And it really hasn't been close. The last 3 games, it was actually all in a row. 5-2, 5-2, 5-2. Those were wins from the Islanders. And then before that, 3-1, 3-0. So again, Maddie, puck line here? Like, why not?
If I'm going to go anything here, it has to be puck line, especially if Varlamov plays, because that guy leads the league in shutouts, 1, and 2
dialed in.
Is just, he looks so good this year. That back-to-back series against the Rangers, when the Islanders were the underdog in game 1, that was confusing. And then when they were barely favorites in game 2, that was confusing. Those were some of the easiest bets that I've placed this year, based on value and just outcome. Money line, I won't be afraid to throw him in on parlays. Puck line, I'm also not afraid there. If Varlamov starts, my confidence is through the roof. If Sorokin starts, I still have pretty high confidence.
Yeah, me too. And not only were those the easy bets and confusing, and Cam, we all talked about that on Friday and how the Islanders were just dogs against the Rangers. And then they opened up as dogs in the second one as well, but it kind of shifted to where they were barely favorites, to your point, and 4-0, 3-0. Like all the games between the Rangers this year had gone under the number as well. So that was nice to see. Yeah, Varlamov enters with a .930 save percentage, 7 shutouts, and a 1.99 goals against average. Dude is absolutely feeling it. Okay, so I'm thinking Islanders in the puck line. It's been really good to us all year. All right, so Boston and New Jersey in here next. The Devils plus 185. So, yeah, they had that 10-game losing skid. And I guess if you want to end your losing streak, you just hope that you have a matchup against the Philadelphia Flyers, because Buffalo had, an 18-game losing streak earlier in the year. And they were up in a game, lost it, and the Flyers came back and won. And then we all got burned on the show, and Buffalo won the very next time. We were off of them. And the same thing kind of happened when the Devils played the Flyers. It was last Sunday. They blew the late lead to end their losing streak. Flyers came back and won in a shootout. And then they played each other again on Tuesday. And then the Devils finally got it done. I like what the Devils have shown me lately. Offensively, they're playing good. The kids are playing good. Sharon Govich is playing really good. Hughes is a guy that's hitting his shot prop. Miles Wood is chipping in, and Nico Hischier is also playing well as well. But they're struggling to keep the puck out of their net, as I mentioned off the top, talking about prize picks. I had to go back. You can go even further, Eric. It's been about 85% of their games over the last 4 weeks. They've allowed at least 4 goals. They allowed at least 4 goals in 12 of their past 16. Boston's going to score some tonight.
For sure. And Boston is on just a wicked heater. David Krejci looks like he's David Krejci from 5 or 6 years ago. Man. Start of the year, this guy didn't exist. He was invisible. He's invisible. Now he's got Taylor Hall, and look at Craig Smith, played for the Predators for a year. This is what he does. There's nights where he looks like he's the most dominant, best player on the ice. And then there's nights where he doesn't touch the puck maybe for a full 60 minutes. So this is who he is. He's very streaky, but tireless worker. Having Hall and Smith on the wings for Krejci, a guy that can just distribute, and those guys can both shoot the puck and get after it and forecheck. That is a dangerous line. Like 1-2 punch for Boston right now is terrifying. I wouldn't want to play them. But New Jersey is interesting, man. They've got a lot of interesting players.
Mm-hmm.
Like the top line of Saragovich and what's the kid, Kokinen, or I can't think of his name now, the other guy on the other wing. But they're interesting, but they don't have defensemen that can play tough. They're all good skaters and decent for NHL defensemen right now, but they're smaller and they have no one to push people around when they get in their end. And I think that's really showing.
Yeah, it is. There's a connection between Sharon Govich and Jack Hughes right now. Both of those guys really like to shoot the puck. I think if I had to pick one, it would be Pasternak just for the shot prop here. But I think there's just so many ways that you can go. But at least with Pasternak, he's shooting again. There was a moment where he wasn't shooting, but his last few games, his last four, he's got 20 shots on goal, 4, 6, 6, and 4. 3, 3, 5 over the last two. But from a DFS standpoint, I think you got to get involved with the Bruins here. And I almost feel like attacking that first line would be the contrarian play because they're expensive. I don't think you really need to worry about ownership here today with 14 games on the slate. There's just so many different ways that you can go. But Smith, Krejci, and Hall are all very cheap. You mentioned Smith. I mean, he's fresh off the hat trick game. He's got 5 points over his last 2 games. Bringing in Taylor Hall has lit a fire under Krejci, but it's just given them some stability on that second line. I mean, Hall has been great as well. I mean, he's got 3 goals. He's got points in 5 of his past six games. And Krejci, you're right. He looks like the Krejci of old. This guy I had major questions about him 2 months ago. 2 months ago, as a guy didn't look like he had it anymore. I didn't think the Bruins would make any noise. I had some concerns with them on defense and where was the secondary offense going to come from? Like Jake DeBrusk hasn't really done anything. Nick Ritchie was playing on that second line. He had moments, but Krejci has been awesome, Eric.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's night and day. I mean, and this does happen. Fantasy, you got to pay attention. DK, you got to pay attention. Betting lines and stuff like that. Like, you got to pay attention. This guy is rolling right now. I mean, I looked for him on every waiver wire that was possible for me, and I picked him up in a couple leagues. I couldn't believe that he was available. So right now, he is absolutely feeling it, and I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too. I think we can have some fun with this game as maybe taking Krejci for a 2-point game or Bergeron a 2-point game. A lot of these guys, I think. I mean, Krejci's got 13. He's got 13 points in his last 10 games. I mean, he's a league winner in fantasy if you picked him up, and he's still only owned in 47% of Yahoo leagues. He comes in with 7 points over a current 3-game point streak. He's got 2 goals over that span. He's been fire. I like all these guys: Smith, Krejci, Hall. I like them all. I think I'm gonna with Raskin net. I think the Bruins win like 5-2 or something like that. I think that they're definitely in play. All right, Rangers and Capitals. I'll probably stay away from this game. Stay clear. Ovechkin still doesn't look like he's going to be able to return here. The Rangers minus 105, Capitals minus 112 here. The total is at 6. I think we could potentially see some offense. They're not getting a lot of consistency in goal when it comes to Washington. Yeah, I'm looking here. It doesn't look like Ovechkin is ready to play. Maybe they're just being cautious. Maybe he does have a serious injury. They're locked into a playoff spot, so I don't think there's major concerns. But with no Ovechkin and no John Carlson, these guys may be out again. Maybe it's an opportunity to jump on the Rangers, but I'm not. I think this is just a stay away from me. What do you think? What's your initial thoughts, Eric?
Yeah, stay away from me. And I'm like looking like the over is 6. Like they're not get there, right? So the under could be a really good play here. I just don't know where the offense is going to come. People that still thinking that Ovechkin is going to beat Wayne Gretzky's goal record, stop. That's not happening.
Come on, it might.
It's not happening. Not 2 lockouts, now a shortened season, and he's almost 40 years old. I think he's still going to continue to score. He's not breaking that record. I believe no one will ever touch it. I don't think it will ever be broken. Ever.
I mean, he's got 24 goals in 43 games. He's still
There's
scoring at an elite,
games.
Right? But he's still scoring at an elite pace. I still think he's going to play. You'd have to play at least 3 more years for sure.
So even if he scores 50, which he's not going to do, like he's not getting there. It's not happening. I know this has
Maddie?
nothing to do with what we're talking about, but
I know.
I'm just tired. I'm tired.
I'm one of those people who I'm one of those people who think it. I've thought it for a while.
He's my favorite player. Like maybe my favorite player to watch still currently. I would love to see it, but it is not happening. There's no way. There is no way. It's not happening. As a person that's 41, I can tell you, I'm talking from experience, you don't become better at your chosen sport as you get older.
Man, and Ginla scored like 22 goals just sitting on the circle one time, hardly moving his legs when he was like 41, 42, playing with, I think,
sign me up for 20 to 30 for sure. I think he'll get it, but that's not going to get him there.
Maddie, come on, man. What do you think? I mean, he scored 48 and 68 in 2019. He's got 70 plus goals over his last 100
games. 3 years ago, Chris.
It's 2 years ago.
I love Alexander Mikhailovich Ovechkin. I am a huge Ovi fan. Before this shortened season, I would have given like a 60% chance that he was going to beat it. But because of the shortened season, because like EY said, he's getting close to being 40. He's 35 right now. 40% chance. I don't want to count him out, but 40% chance is where I'm at because I wouldn't be surprised if he did it. But I'm leaning more towards him not doing it. But I just love Ovi too much. I have him in almost every league every single year. I don't care if I trade the farm for him.
Yeah. Conversation for another day, boys. I think he gets it. Mika Zibanejad, 2.5 shots, minus 149. That's the only play I like. Matt, do you like anything from this game, Rangers and Caps?
No, I'm staying the hell away from this. I don't like it's just too volatile for me.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. All right, Pittsburgh and Philly in here next. Flyers plus 135, Pitt 159. I like Pitt. They're not going to mess around here with Philadelphia tonight. Philly, you never know what you're going to get with them. Sometimes it looks like they're a competitive team and they could score a few goals, but they just give up so much as well. 6.5 is a high total. I could maybe get behind the over here, but I like the Pens. EY, what do you think?
Yeah, Pens for me, they're the turnaround for this team has been, it's been pretty interesting. I don't think I believe it's all just Hextall and Brian Burke, but they came in and changed how. This team is different than the team from when that they acquired or became general managers or hockey operations, whatever they're called. So Pens there. I don't trust Philadelphia at all. Goaltending's been brutal. They're an absolute conundrum for me. They should be a good team, and they're not. They're not even close.
No, they're not close. 5 of the 6 games between these two teams have gone over the number. We've seen at least 7 goals in 5 of those 6 games. So it has, and then a couple of those games earlier in the year, I remember there were 6s. Like, look at these totals. The first 2 games of the season, 6-3, 5-2. Those were actually Philadelphia wins to start the season. It was looking like, oh boy, the Flyers. Yeah, they're carrying over from last year. Then after that, 5-2, 4-3, 4-3. The last time they played, it was 2-1 in a shootout. I remember picking the over and feeling not great about it. I think we'll see some goals. Malkin is close to returning. I don't think he's going to suit up tonight, but there were some rumblings that he could have returned over the weekend. So let me just check here on the fly. He's close. It's still just the word is that he's close to returning. But I like the addition of Jeff Carter, man. It looks like he's got a little bit of a jump in his step, and it's given him not as much stability as Boston's second line, but it's given them a little bit something on that second line in Pittsburgh. McCann is playing really good hockey as well. I like the Pens. And Matt, is that 6.5 too high?
I don't mind the 6.5. I also don't love it. Like, there's 14 games, so I'm just probably going to stay away. I think if it gets down to 6, I might go take it there because I can just take the push and not feel like a coward. But other than that, I don't really love the 6.5. But I'm sure if you spent like 2 minutes, you could convince me.
Brian Rush shot prop 2.5, 5, 4, 3, 3, 1, 3, 5, 2, 3. So this guy has hit in 8 of 9, 8 of 10. That's pretty solid. 2.5. I know a lot of people want to go to Crosby, but Russ seems to be the trigger man lately. He's playing a little bit more consistency. He is plus 100 2.5 shots over at William Hill. I think I will lean with the over. We'll maybe recap at the end, but I like the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. Decent odds for them being on the road in Philly. Next one here, Carolina and Chicago. The Hurricanes, heavy home favorites here, minus 235. The Blackhawks plus 197, 27 and 24. We have a total of 6. It does seem slightly high. I was looking this morning who would be a net if it's Nedeljkovic. When Nedeljkovic plays Carolina games, I take the under. Yeah, it's still not confirmed, but it does projected Reimer. It's the first of a back-to-back here. These two teams are going to go at it again tomorrow evening. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of my thing. When Nedeljkovic plays, I know the odds are crazy. Like on the weekend, we had over at FTN, we had Carolina and the under just to give us plus 150. They played Columbus, and I think it was a 2-1 win. Sweated that one out, but Nedeljkovic doesn't give up anything. If it is Reimer, I'll shy away from the under. But 6 is pretty high, I think. I like Carolina, but, man, they're just juiced up. I don't know. I don't even know. This may just be another stay away from me. I don't like taking Carolina on the puck line. They don't really get it done on the puck line.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm avoiding it. I think the Blackhawks have turned into who we thought they were going to be. They had that run, and Kevin Lankinen was unreal. Patrick Kane was taking over every game, but they're just kind of who we thought they were going to be. They weren't supposed to be a good team. This is who the Blackhawks are. Hurricanes are one of the best teams in the NHL. Would be terrified to play them. And I think if and when the Preds sneak in, that's who they're going to draw. And oh man, they're such a good team. So aggressive. It seems like there's 6 guys on the ice. It's nuts. They're so good.
Yeah, and Teuvo Teravainen's back, so he's back playing with Aho and Svechnikov, and that first line has looked good. Man, Jordan Staal has had a heck of a season too. Trocheck has been quiet lately, but he can turn it up in a heartbeat. He was great in the first part of the season. I like Svechnikov, the shot prop. It probably won't be. There's so many games like we've already mentioned, so he may not be in my top 5, but that is my favorite play from this game. I like the fact that trio is back together. They just have so much chemistry. Teuvo and Aho seem to look Svechnikov's way. He seems to be the trigger man on that line. There was something else I wanted to add. Just at Carolina, I think that they're going to continue to go because they want that first place. They have a 2-point lead on Tampa, who won yesterday, but they got a game in hand. So they're 7-0-3 in their last 10. They've won 3 straight games. I think it's very important for them to win that division. No, not a knock on Nashville, but a much easier opponent than having to play Tampa or Florida in the first round. And I think we had Carolina to win the division on this show. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because there's still a few games left, but plus 350 is a bet I think a lot of people made because of this show. I've heard some people reach out. So we're all rooting for Carolina to get the division and win some cash for some people out there. All right, your Preds in here next in Columbus to take on a brutal Blue Jackets team. 1-6-3 in their last 10 games. They have a goal differential of minus 49, which is the third worst in the league. Detroit is at minus 46, by the way. So Columbus at home, Preds minus 162. Tough to lay this kind of juice with the Preds, but they're just a much better hockey team than Columbus right now, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a much better team than people are saying. Like, I watch every game, and I know it's my hometown team, but this is 2 different teams. It's the same thing with David Krejci. At the start of the year, David Krejci was useless. He wasn't shooting the puck. He wasn't making plays. He wasn't scoring. He wasn't doing anything. And the Preds were the same. Saros, since coming back from injury, is statistically and to the eye test the best goalie in the NHL. Go ahead, look it up. He is not allowing anything. I think his average is 9.46 or something insane since returning. He is on an absolute heater. And if you have goaltending like that, you can beat any team. They don't have any superstars, but this is 4 good lines. It started with the turnaround of their 4th line, Sissons, Olivier, and Yakov Trenin, who's my favorite player in the NHL. He responded to me on Twitter the other day, and it made my day. I don't think he speaks very good English, but I'm going to invite him to my house to smoke cigars and drink vodka. So anyways, but watching them on the ice, they just wear teams out. They cycle the puck. They're getting chances. There's guys that can score on every line, and the Preds are a very, very hard team to play against right now. The Dallas Predators game was awesome, super physical. Playing Columbus for the Predators is a godsend right now. They need those wins, and I believe that they will handle the Blue Jackets tonight pretty easily.
Maddie, what do you think?
I'm just slightly terrified because the Blue Jackets have been playing semi-close games. I mean, they took Carolina to overtime. They took Tampa to overtime. If the Nashville Predators were around minus 200, which is what I thought they would be near because of how bad the Blue Jackets are, I'd be a little more confident in just liking them as a whole. This price, though, it makes me think, like, Saros got so lucky on a couple saves in the last game. That skate save towards the end of the game was just simply unbelievable. And I've said it for the last 3, 4, 5 weeks. I've never seen a team in the NHL with a bigger win condition than the Nashville Predators and UC Saros. If this guy is not on his A game and this team gets peppered for 30 plus shots, they will lose. Because their offense, Forsberg's just coming back. He whiffed on a good chance in overtime. Eric Goodbranson had a chance on a silver platter from Matt Duchene.
If it was anyone else, that's a goal.
Oh, I mean, not if it was Ben Harper.
Really, anyone else on the team.
It was like, that was brutal. That was the first game where I think Matt Duchene looked like an $8 million player this whole year. He looked phenomenal. He was all over the ice. It's just they need to consistently find the back of the net from guys not named Philip Forsberg or Tolvanen. That's what this team needs. There's only so much you can do and say and love all this energy from the fourth line, and the third line looks good, but they need consistent scoring, and they haven't been able to find that unless they're playing teams like the Blackhawks or the Blue Jackets. I just won't be laying any money here. I might be on a couple shot props on this game, but nothing in terms of money line or puck line.
What do you think about Forsberg 2.5 shots, William Hill? He used to be at 3.5 most spots. I think they've kind of forgotten about
I
that.
think that's a good bet.
2.5 I love.
Minus 141, 2.5. Yeah, he had 3 shots in his return. Yeah, what about the under too? I mean, the under's in play. 5.5. Columbus can't score.
Columbus can't score, and the Preds
can't really score either.
Preds are having a hard time scoring too.
Yeah.
I think the under is what I'd go here.
And Merzinklin's has he's been good. Elvis, our boy EY. Yeah, he's been decent. He's got a 9.1 save percentage and a 2.75 goals against average. He got a couple shutouts on the year. I mean, he's been hurt most of the season. He's been hurt a couple times in and out, but he has been Columbus's better goalie this season. So the under 5.5, I mean, that's going to get to 5 pretty quick if it's not already. If you can jump on that, get that in your parlays. And away.
Yeah, I'm showing 5. I'm showing 5 now.
You're seeing 5 already. Yeah. Jump over at the parlay calculator. I'll take a look at here on the fly. I'll tee you up for your other hockey team, the Ottawa Senators, plus 137 at home. Jets minus 159. So as I mentioned, the Jets have lost 6 straight games. They look completely lost. The Sens are 6-3-1 in their last 10 games. They're only 4 points back of the Calgary Flames. My goodness, this team is playing real good hockey. They let one slip, like I said, over the weekend against the Habs. They're up 2-0 in the third period, but man, I thought they played pretty good. They got outshot in the third period 18-3. Montreal just kind of woke up. They kind of sat back on their heels a bit, and I think the Sens are in play again tonight, Eric.
Yeah, I'm going Sens. I got them to win on their own, and I got them in a parlay as well. Look, I mean, it's just watch the games, man. They're playing really good, and Winnipeg is not on paper. If you're looking experience-wise and whatever, I mean, the Winnipeg Jets should probably win this game, but they're not going to. Ottawa is flying. The kids are playing well. Brady Tkachuk is a beast. Stützle is going to be a star. It's a super interesting team. In 2 years, the Ottawa Senators are going to be a juggernaut.
Ooh, baby.
Juggernaut.
Yeah, heard you.
100%.
Crazy. Kind of believe it.
Yeah, I believe
they're going to continue to build through the draft. They're going to get more picks, more solid assets, and some of these kids are going to be getting better and better. There's a lot to like about Stützle, Norris, Batherson. They get some pieces on the blue line. I think some of the guys are playing with a lot of confidence. Obviously, Shabbat is a guy that I don't think a lot of people talk about. When you watch him play, though, he's so fun to watch, man. He's got so much poise with the puck. He's a great puck-moving defenseman. He's got a ton of speed. He's still just super young. He's a star. There's no question. The total here is a little high for me, 6. As much as I like the Sens, I don't know if they're going to be able to put 4 goals on Hellebuck. And the Jets are just not showing me anything right now. And I don't know if they just flip the switch and all of a sudden they just start scoring goals, right?
Could happen.
Wheeler's is a big part of that team. Like he's had a hell of a year. It could
He's
happen.
he's the engine of that offense, right? He makes that team go for sure.
He seems to be. I still like Kyle Connor as a guy, but there's the top two lines are not looking great. I think I lean with the under 6. That's the play. So yeah, just for a second there, Nashville and Columbus. Again, use that parlay calculator. You can get under 5.5 at -139, or you can just go under 5 and get a plus money. William Hill's got it at plus 115, under 5 or under 5.5. If you wanted, it could work out, get that push, and then whatever, it's off your parlays. I would go with if you're doing parlays, why not just go 5.5 -139, and then if it gets to 5, because I can't see 6 goals in that game. So if it was like a 3-2 game, then you still get it. You don't want to get burned there with an empty net or anything like that. Matt, are you in on the Sens here today? Gotta ask you, man. We're just suckers here. We're always talking about Ottawa.
I don't remember how we were talking about earlier where Connor Hellebuck could just turn it on and destroy a team.
Yeah.
That's just too terrifying for me to be on the Sens.
What about the under?
The under is what I like. I was about to say the under seems good. If Hellebuck plays like I expect him to play, then the under is definitely in play. And the Sens haven't been bad defensively, as weird as that sounds. I was slow saying that because that just felt dirty to say. I think the under, like you said, is what I'll go for here. But then again, life, death, taxes, and EY betting on the Sens. And I feel like I have to trail it every single week. And it's worked more often than not. So I have nothing bad to say about it.
Nah, he's been, Sens have been good to us. For a couple years now, Eric, you and I doing shows, we've been talking about the Sens. I remember our first few shows, we were talking about Ottawa, and people were like, why do you guys keep talking about Ottawa? It's like they had so many guys that were available on the waiver wire. Like Anthony Duclair had such a good season that year, and nobody wanted to roster him. He was
he was like the most dropped player, and he would just score every game. I'm like, why are people dropping him?
Every Monday
doesn't make any sense.
We would look at the most added, most dropped, and it was always Anthony Duclair, and it would cycle. It'd be like pick him up for a week, he'd score 4 goals, and then he went 2 games without a goal, and everyone would drop him. And then it's like, whoa, Anthony Duclair is hanging around the waiver wire. Why is he hanging around the waiver wire? I think under is the play, under 6 goals. I'm a little hesitant too. I think we should see a very desperate Jets team, but Ottawa's playing good hockey, just as good as anybody in the NHL. Yeah, there's no question. Okay, Dallas and Florida in here next. The Panthers -141. I am in on that. I love that line. I think Florida is the good team. We'll definitely see some desperation from Dallas. Anytime I'll take Florida here at around this number, I'm going to jump on them. So Dallas +123 on the road. This should be a really good game. If you're going to bet anything here today, do Sam Bennett over. I can't get over this. His shot prop is
I don't think Bennett's
again.
playing.
What?
Yeah, I saw something on Twitter. I'll confirm with you in a second. Just give me like 2 minutes.
Come on, don't break my heart like that. If he does play, Matt will confirm with us. I'm not seeing much, but
Sam Bennett is out.
Trust you. Come on.
Yeah, Sam Bennett from George Richards, who is a
hurt?
guy that covers the Panthers. He is day-to-day. Bennett appears out tonight. Philippe I'm not even going to try that, is going to make his NHL debut. Daily Faceoff also reporting Bennett day-to-day upper body injury.
Our guy, George Richards from The Athletic. Yeah, we used to have him on our show, Eric. Yeah, this is a bummer, man. I was going to get in here and just talk him up. Again, he has been unreal. I can't get over the difference between Calgary's Sam Bennett and Florida's Sam Bennett. Now, playing with a guy like Jonathan Huberdeau and inside that top 6 will do wonders for a guy. We can't really get into him, but man, he was +130 for a shot prop over 2.5. Again, he was +120. He's been plus money over his last 2 games. His shots are ridiculous. 4, 4, 6, 5, 3, 8, and 4. He has points in 5 straight games. We can't talk about him. He's had a point, Eric, in 8 of his 9 games with the Panthers. And
we said this last week. It's the dream scenario, right? Like you always hear like, oh, change his scenery. If he goes somewhere else, he could be a better player. Sam Bennett looks like not a better player. He looks like a completely different player, right? Like this is the dream scenario. Hopefully he gets back and continues this run because it's really cool. I like Sam Bennett. Playoff Sam Bennett is a nuisance and is physical and is a pain in the ass. And I'll be here for it, man. Florida is They're cool, man. I don't know if I've said that since 1993, but the Florida Panthers are a very, very interesting hockey team.
It might have been 96, right? With the Cats, and they
96. Yeah,
lost
that's
to
right.
the Avs. Krupp. Lost to the Avs in the finals, but they had a hell of a team. I remember being super young, and this is how long I've been making bets. What you mentioned, the Panthers, nobody liked them in '96, and I didn't know much about odds, but I remember picking Florida, like getting my grandfather to go up the road to get a pro line and having Florida on it and winning that pro line because they beat I forget who they beat, obviously, but they won with the Scott Mellanby hat trick. The Florida Panthers with Van Beesbrook in
What a
net.
team.
What a
Stu
squad.
Barnes.
Stu
Legend.
Barnes. Yeah, what a squad they had. But yeah, it's exciting times to be a Florida fan, and I'm bummed about the Sam Bennett thing because I have him in a couple of season-long leads, and I could use him because he's just been so good. So before we move on from him, 38 games with Calgary, 4 goals, 12 points, minus 14. 9 games with Florida, 5 goals, 13 points, plus 11. Crazy. More goals, more
It's
points.
two different people.
And what a swing. He's also playing 5 more minutes per game. He only played 13 per game
Helps
with the Flames, so that does help. Barkov, Maddie's boy, is 2.5 here at minus 149. I love that bet. We never get Barkov at that price at 2.5. I don't care what you say, Matt. I'm taking that one. Just don't pick him. Okay?
He could be 1.5, and I wouldn't pick him based on principle, so don't worry.
Wow.
I can't. Barkov is ruined to me, and Toffoli. Can't do those two anymore. Walking away. Doesn't matter. It could be half a shot, and I wouldn't take the over, as dumb as that sounds.
No, that's fair. I have guys like that too. When you get burned, you just get burned. But I have no problem going back to them. Okay, we're 46 minutes in. We're almost through. Ducks and Blues minus 240 for St. Louis, Anaheim plus 203. I thought that was really cool the other day. Ryan Miller announced his retirement, that he's going to retire at the end of the season, and they played the Kings. I don't know if you guys saw it, but after the game, all the Kings went over and just shook Ryan Miller's hand. I thought that was really cool. It was like,
it was
really neat, and just you don't really see that, unexpected. It was not like Miller's been with Anaheim playing the Kings for years. He's been a backup goalie for them. Most of his, when he was with the Sabres, he was a top goalie in the NHL. He was phenomenal, but quick, both American guys, so they were there. They had their moment. Kopitar had a moment with him as well. Dustin Brown. I thought that was really cool to see. I don't know what I can add here on this game. I don't expect the Ducks to beat the Blues. I know they have before, and St. Louis has been a team that's frustrated us, but minus 240 is tough really to get behind them on the money line. I think I'll just cross this off. Do you have anything to add with the Ducks and the Blues?
Yeah, it's too volatile for me. St. Louis, I don't know what team is going to show up, what Jordan Binnington is going to show up. The Ducks are not a good hockey team. They're going to be. They got a ton of young talent, but none of them have been able to really put it together. I know that Zegras and Comtois playing on a line right now. There's something going on there. That's interesting to me, but not enough to wager. There's just too many unknowns in this game.
Yeah, Matt, do you have anything to add? This is kind of a
I just have a fun fact. Did you know in that win?
Facts.
That win against the Kings, Ryan Miller actually guaranteed that Buffalo, his former team, would have the worst record in the NHL, thus giving him the best lottery odds. So a final parting gift from Ryan Miller to Buffalo.
Welcome, Buffalo.
Suck it, Buffalo. All right, Minnesota and Vegas in here next. We have the Wild plus 106. The total here 5.5 minus 122 for Vegas. That's a price that I could usually get behind here. I'm a little hesitant though. The Wild are 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. They're 2 points back of Colorado. I need to know the status of Max Pacioretty. I know he's just one guy, but he is a big part of what they've been doing lately. I think I'm leaning towards an under here in this game between these two teams. I'm not seeing anything on Patches, but he only played 12 minutes. He left halfway through the second period in the last game that they played. So, Vegas really struggled against Arizona. Good on Cam. Cam came in here Friday and was all over the Yotes. And I don't know if he ended up taking them on the money line or if he just took them on the puck line, but they won 3-0. So he was all over that. And it was a struggle for Vegas to get by Arizona the very next night. It was a 3-2 win. Man, Minnesota's is real good at home. They're one of the strongest teams at home. I have a lean here to the under. EY, do you have a feel?
Yeah, I would lean the under as well. Good goaltending on both ends, good defensive structure on both ends. Minnesota, I think, wins this game. They need it. And Vegas has been a little discombobulated as of late. I think it's Pacioretty is kind of the shooter. I mean, they need a guy like that on the ice. And when he's not there, I feel like they're a very different team.
Yeah, they can score. When you look at Vegas, you feel like,
Sure.
oh, they score 5 or 6, but they actually play to a lot of unders. They're a tight checking team. They don't score really a ton of goals.
No.
I know it seems weird to say, but when you look at that top 6, but they haven't got any consistency out of that second line this year. I remember Marchessault and Carlson and Riley Smith. Remember how good they were in their first season? They were they were unbelievable. There hasn't been a lot of consistency there. William Karlsson has hit the score sheet a couple times. I think he's got 3 goals in his last 5. So he's starting to score, and the Stone Pacioretty line had been on a heck of a run. I think the under here. Matt, do you have a feel between these? This should be a really good game.
This will be a fun game to watch. It'll be a fun low-scoring game to watch, which is why I'm taking the under here. Meaney plays Vegas extremely well. Like, I think out of everybody in the division, Meaney plays Vegas the closest and the tightest that Vegas has seen this year. I don't like any of the puck lines either way, that being said, but the under is what I will be on. I might have an under parlay by the end of the show.
I think so too. Like, we're talking about a lot of unders. So Minnesota, they won the last 2 games against Vegas. It was 4-3 and 2-0. Before that, there were 2 wins from Vegas, 5-4 and 5-1. So as much as I thought the under has hit quite often between these two, it only hit the last 2 times that these 2 teams met. But I like the under still. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I wonder if they go back to Talbot. Talbot struggled a little bit. I think they go back to him. He's been pretty consistent for them all year. There's nothing confirmed. Checking at left wing lock, there's really not a lot of goalies. Oh wow, we don't have no Hellebuck tonight. It's first lock. Fire up the sense.
Over.
Yeah.
I know. I'd like the under, but now I'm kind of feeling the over. Oh man, that's huge. Interesting. All right. What about Kaprizov? Shot prop over 2.5. Yes,
Yep.
You like it, don't you?
Yep.
You're not rocking the jersey. Matt, you've been riding Kaprizov lately?
Kaprizov's been my boy. I'm still waiting on my jersey EY, and it's been, like 2 months since we placed our orders? They just struggle.
They got a different kind of system.
They struggle getting it to Canada, but Kaprizov's my guy. I still want him to win the Calder. I love him. I think he's going to be so much fun to watch in his NHL career, and he's been nice to my bank account.
Has he ever? He's cleared 2.5 shots in 7 straight games. So let's get him on the list. Over 2.5 shots here. Get that Kaprizov jersey soon. I just got that Mike Trout tee, Matt. So it's been a long time.
What a shirt.
What a shirt. A goat. I'll have to rock that on Wednesday. Okay, we're chugging along here. We got 3 more games. What is in here next? LA and Arizona next. Not betting it. Not touching it. Won't bet it. You got your. If I had to choose a side, it would be Arizona, just because they're 3 points back of St. Louis. And what we talked about on the show on Friday was that a desperate hockey team, knowing that they have 4 games left, you lose and you're done. You got to win these games. The Kings, 44 points. They are out of it. They are done. They lost a couple to Anaheim, who I think is one of the worst teams in the league. So if I had to choose to be Arizona, Eric, but I'm probably just going to leave this off the card.
Yeah, I'd go Arizona, but the odds aren't enough for me to even be bothered to bet on it. LA Kings are out of it. They're not playing for anything. They're bringing out players from the AHL to give them some time, which is cool. Quentin Byfield looked pretty good, man. Is going to be a good player. LA is turned around pretty quickly. At the start of the year, we're talking about how unbelievable Dustin Brown is. Anze Kopitar is still a top 10 player in the league. I don't know what they're going to do goaltending wise. Maybe it's Pedersen's net. And I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. But yeah, in that game, Arizona is desperate, and they're a scrappy team. And I don't know what Connor Garland's status is. I know that he was out. But if he plays, I'm all over Coyotes.
Edmonton and Vancouver in here next. Canucks home dogs here plus 162. Edmonton minus 190. This is going to get up to 210, 215, something like that. I think a lot of people will hammer Edmonton. I'm probably one of those people. I think we'll see them I think we'll see them score 4 goals. If you want to get in on the over 3.5, I think that they have some offense here in this game. I don't know. I was thinking under, but I'm a little scared with McDavid. I'm going to be taking McDavid here. I think that he wants 100 points. I think it doesn't even matter if he wanted it or he didn't want it, or if he wasn't thinking it. He's just that good and on a heck of a run here that he can just get it done. This is a weird price, minus 118 for 2 points. It's tough that you may not feel that, but I'm getting involved with that. I want to tell you that right now. I'm getting some parlays with that. And if you don't like that price, I mean, Draisaitl's plus 110 for a 2-point night. I think they score some goals. I like the Oilers. Eric, Edmonton, upset Vancouver. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, Edmonton, Vancouver, they look cooked. Like you said, they're playing a ton of hockey. And it's a ton of hockey for nothing. They're not making the playoffs. The team is disjointed. Not the season they were looking for. Their best player, Patterson, or one of their best players isn't playing. Yeah, Edmonton. Anytime Connor McDavid is playing, that team's going to win. That's what I think.
Puck line guy, Matty Best? No.
No, not for me. I don't like it enough. The Vancouver Canucks have actually been getting okay goaltending lately, so it's not enough for me to be trashing on them. I still think they're shit, but not enough for me to take the puck line because Holtby looks okay.
Yeah, he does. So these two teams have only played 5 times. It was 5-3 Vancouver to start the season, and then 5-2 Edmonton, 4-3 Edmonton, 3-0 Edmonton, and a 2-1 loss. The Oilers. So these guys are going to play each other 4 straight times and 5 times here the rest of the season. So it's going to be tough sledding for Vancouver. Yeah, I see where you guys are going there, but I'd like the 2-point night here for McDavid or Draisaitl in there. And then the final game here is Colorado and San Jose. So a lot of juice here on the Avs, minus 245. They're starting to get healthy again. They're getting their guys back. Mikko Rantanen returned on the weekend, and man, he absolutely just demolished me in one of my fantasy hockey leagues. Came back and had a goal and 3 points, and he's got 2 goals and 5 points in 2 games since returning. 10 shots on goal. Both of those games came against the Sharks, a 3-0 win and a 4-3 win. Man, Mikko Rantanen, what a year for him. Is like one of the guys that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. 57 points.
Not enough.
Not enough.
He's a star. For sure.
28 goals is just 3 behind his career high set in 2018 in a 74-game season. Well, he had 74 games as an 82-game season, but 57 points in 45 games. Remarkable. And how good has he been to us on this show when it comes to shot props? I think we've taken him almost every single show. Take him again at 2.5 here. I mentioned the 10 shots. So I don't know. I think they go back to Grubauer. And if they go back to Grubauer, I like the Avs on the puck line. And that's basically it. I think the only reason they didn't get the puck line win is because Grubauer didn't play the other night. And it was a 4-3 victory. So I think that they win here like another, like a 5-2 game, or maybe it's very similar, another borderline shutout for Philip Grubauer. Eric, anything to add on that game?
No, we're lockstep there for sure. San Jose should be better than we are, but they're just not a good team. And the Colorado Avalanche are terrifying, just terrifying. Yeah, all over the ice, not just offensively. Their defensemen. It might be one of the best defense corps in the league, if not the best. They're terrifying.
All right, where's the goals going to come from here from a DFS standpoint? What do you do when there's 14 games on the schedule? I'm going to tell you my top stacks. Boston against the Devils, Colorado against San Jose. I like Pittsburgh against Philadelphia. I like the Oilers against Vancouver, and I like the Islanders against Buffalo. Those are 5. That's 5 right there. It's tough. I think if you had to narrow it down, I'd be looking at, it's hard to shut. Colorado 1, that'd be it. Avs 1, that their first line. And then maybe to be different, it would be to get involved with Boston with their second line. But I don't think you really need to worry about ownership. There's a lot of value on the board if you want to just chuck in McKinnon and McDavid and then just try to seek out some value on the wings. I'll throw a couple value plays. Taylor Hall. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is under 6K on DraftKings. Bolivier is very cheap. Batherson, we got a break here with Boursois in net for the Jets. Galchenyuk, Jordan Kyrou, Josh Bailey. There's a lot of guys there that are completely, especially from the Islanders side of things, Eric. There's a lot of Islander guys here. You mentioned Barzal. He's 5'9".
Sign me up.
Brock Nelson's 4-5. Eberle's 5-3. Olivier's 4-4. Palmieri's 4. Bailey's 3-5. So there's so much value on the Islanders that can allow you to maybe spend up elsewhere on some of these other top end players. Where would you go tonight from a DFS standpoint? Where do you think the goals are going to be scored?
I like having maybe McDavid at center, and then putting a wing stack from the Islanders around him. Maybe maybe avoiding Barzal because you want McDavid at center, but having the Islanders because they're valuable. Because look, I mean, I know that they don't score a ton of goals, but they have been really good lately. And you could even go Ottawa. I mean, I feel with Brossoit and net and that defensive core, the Winnipeg Jets are a mess right now. I don't trust them at all. And Ottawa's been playing very, very good. I mean, and the players in DK are super affordable. So it's a good way to go.
Matt, what do you think, man? Where do you start when there's 14 games?
I think you go back to the favorites, like you said, McDavid, Barzal, those guys kind of thing. And then the 3 games that I'm specifically attacking, you gave your stacks. I've got Boston, the Islanders, and the Avs. And no coincidence, I'm taking each of those teams on the puck line tonight. Just those 3 and those 3 only. But DFS, those are the 3 teams that I'm going to go to. And then, like you said, there's a ton of value around the NHL. I mean, you can just plug and play basically anyone you want. I honestly don't mind a couple of the Preds because I think there'll be a contrarian play tonight. And that's guys not named Forsberg and Tolvanen. I think you get involved at the Granlund. You get involved with a Yossi because I don't think a lot of people are going to pay up on D today just because why would you with 14 teams? And Yossi, I believe, is the highest priced defenseman. So I think you can get involved that way and just do a pure stars and scrubs lineup.
Yeah, Yossi 7-1, Chikrin 7, Hamilton 6-9, Makar 6-8, Nurse 6-7, Fox 6-5, Theodore 6-4, Barry 6-3, and Seth Jones 6-2. I think if I had to pick, I mean, Yossi's he's really going to eat up a lot of your salary, but I like him in that spot 7-1. I would rather go Chikrin 7. I think it's just slightly a better matchup. I know Columbus is brutal, but they're just not allowing a ton offensively lately. Makar is the guy though. Like just drop down to kill Makar at 6-8. Like he's just in a prime spot for the Avs. Yeah, for the Avs to score like 5 goals here. But Grzelcyk is cheap. Morgan Riley is cheap. Justin Falk may be the value play of the day when it comes to defensemen. I really like Morgan Riley. I'm not going to lie. Like Riley is 4-7. That's an awesome price. But when we're looking at the Blues here, no Torrey Krug, no Vince Dunn. Parayko is up there at 5-1, but for Justin Falk 4-8, like look at the ice time. He's got 27 minutes, 30 minutes, and 29 minutes over his last couple of games. Yeah, he's not scoring, but he's shooting the puck. He's got 12 shots over his last 3 games, and he's got 5 blocks over that span. But when you're playing half the game, you're just going to get some counting stats, and they're playing the Ducks. So that's where I would go. In net, Varlamov's up at the top, Sorokin, Binnington. You got Corey Schneider in there. He's not getting the start. Grubauer 8-3, Tuukka Rask 8-2. Soros is definitely in play at 8-1. If Nedeljkovic were to get the start, 8K, I would like him. Spencer Knight 7-9. I think he's going to get the call. And Jack Campbell 7-8 against the Canadiens. I still don't think the Canadiens are a threat on offense, and so I think the Leafs win that game. And I think Jack Campbell gets it done. That's probably as low as I would go. I'm not really going to get involved with the Columbus boys or the Vancouver guys or LA guys, and I'm definitely not going to play Mackenzie Blackwood. All right. Wow, what a show. EY, what's on that parlay? I'm curious. What else you got there on that Ottawa parlay?
Yeah, on my parlay for tonight, I've got, let's see. Where did it go?
You probably got the Leafs. It's a parlay from your heart, isn't it? It's Preds, Leafs, and Sens.
Yeah, it's Panthers, Leafs, Senators. $5 to pay 31. The last time I bet on the Senators, it was $20 and I made 60. So they've been very kind to me. I think that's good. I got Minnesota to win outright, Ottawa to win outright as well.
All right, Maddie, I
had those in before I knew Brossoit was playing too. So and now I'm even more confident.
Yeah, no doubt. I like it. Maddie, what kind of damage did we get into on Friday?
So for your picks, you went 3-3. Winnipeg money line missed. Winnipeg under missed. Colorado money line hit. The over missed in that game though. The Kings money line yes, and Vegas and Arizona under yes. 3-3, like I said, 139 and 100 for your picks. Shot props 2-4 last week. Yeah, I guess it was last week. Theodore, McKinnon had 0. That felt weird. Toffoli and Brown all no. F you, Tyler Toffoli. You gave out Suzuki, though, 1.5. That hit. Rantanen, yes, hit. Like always, brings you to 71 and 48. What do you got?
Man, Suzuki, he's another one, but 1.5. He's been at 1.5. I mean, this guy has got 4 goals in the last 5 games. His shots have definitely been there, 3, 2, and 4. I forgot about him, but... for the games tonight, Florida, Carolina, Toronto, Boston by 2. Like that's a parlay I think I'll have. Florida, Carolina, Toronto, Boston by 2. And then I'll do another one, another 4-game parlay. There's so many games. Colorado by 2. The under in Nashville and Columbus. The Islanders by 2. Pittsburgh and the over. So those are like 2 4-game parlays, I think. And I left Ottawa off the board. Can I even do that? That's EY's pick. I'll let him have it. So Florida, Carolina, Toronto, and Boston by 2. And then Colorado and the Islanders by 2 with the under in Nashville and Columbus and the Pens in there. So that's 8 picks right there. I'm telling you, there's going to be a ton of other parlays over at ftmbets.com. I had a couple people sign up over the weekend. Thankful for that. Shot props. Matthews 3.5, Rantanen 2.5, Rust 2.5, Barkov 2.5, Forsberg 2.5, Kaprizov 2.5. I mean, I can't give 100 picks, guys. I try to narrow it down to make it easy for you guys. My favorites would be Matthews 3.5, Rantanen 2.5, Forsberg and Barkov. Like that's a parlay I can get behind. And then you could do like Kaprizov, Toffoli, Rust, Mika Zibanejad. There's obviously a lot of guys here that I like at 2.5, but there's some really solid prices here when it comes to Forsberg and Barkov. We usually don't get those guys at those type of prices, and sometimes they're at 3.5. So I think those guys are definitely most certainly in play. Man, there's a lot. I think McDavid has a 2-point night. I think Pasternak has a 2-point night. I think Crosby probably has a 2-point night. So lots of action over at ftnbets.com. Eric, thank you so much. Good luck tonight with your picks. Go Sens go. And I guess go Preds go as well for both of you guys in there as well. Thanks as always, Maddie. A lot of boards, man. A lot of work for you today. And good luck out there. You have any questions, hit me up at Chris Meaney. Leave the comment there in the YouTube section. We'll circle back before puck drop. We'll be back on Wednesday. Cheers.